Come, let us explore a solid inner guidance routine for beginners. This morning's lesson is drawn from a good-hearted question found on Reddit. Whoopsie, wrong button. Here we go. The question begins, is online sex work okay to do for a job spiritually? And now the body of the question. So I've dealt with some health issues, and I've been doing that for now. I've been wondering if it actually isn't good to do, and many have strong opinions on that, of course. So, first off, if we go any further, you're not alone. A lot of the differently abled, especially those whose disabilities are less obvious, turn towards various forms of online sex work. So you're not alone in this conundrum. Let's continue. Yet on the other hand, I love the aspect of working for myself, the freedom, flexibility, and see it as just a job like anything else. I would never do in-person escort, though on one hand, it is a way to support myself, as we all need money. And it's nice to pick your own hours and not be stuck in a crappy minimum wage job. People say it's bad to sell your body, but that's what many do in their jobs. Feel it may not be what I'd optimally do, but that's okay, as many people aren't doing jobs that is their purpose. I do feel there is something else I can do at some point that is fulfilling, though or more aligned with Dharma. Or I just do some other type of career that interests me. Whoopsie. But there are girls who do OnlyFans, like what they do, and are very successful as well. Thoughts? So so I'm now addressing the person who wrote this question. If you did not write this question, you're welcome to eavesdrop, enjoy yourself, kick back, grab a bowl of popcorn. So to he or she who wrote this question, clearly you are very intelligent and very earnest and have given this a lot of thought. Well done. Sometimes earnestness and intellect is all you need. Fabulous. Other times, it's not enough. I love kitty cat videos on YouTube, and no, that's not an euphemism. One of my favorite tropes is the curious cat who's investigating the inside of a bag of Doritos, and then found out that they can't quite back out. And in their earnestness to back out, they walk right off the table. Maybe that makes me a bad vegan, but I think it's hysterical. And then when you extricate the cat from the bag, for a second they are grateful. And then they remember that they are royalty and you are their minion, and they begin bathing themselves. I've gone into the kitty cat video diatribe before this. Just as sometimes walking backwards will not extricate a kitty cat from its Doritos bag, likewise, there are times when our earnestness and our intellect are not enough to help us see our way out of a bit of confusion. And bit of confusion is like this twisted, tangled Mobius strip, like that's become more of a Gordian knot. Now, here's the problem. If I or some other fool on the internet gives you advice and you take it, that is going to be somewhat disempowering. It's going to move you from the position of autonomous adult to submissive child. And that will bite you in the ass, but not in the fun, tingly way. So, here's the way, the solution, embraced by the great luminaries of yore. Inner guidance. Now, inner guidance is easier said than done. After all, sometimes our contrivance, our agendas, our shoulds masquerade as inner guidance. Sometimes our scattered spontaneity masquerades as inner guidance. You know, by scattered spontaneity, that so-called good idea you get after your third consecutive espresso in 15 minutes. Woo! You're enthusiastic. You're not sure about what, but you can do it, whatever it is. Neither extreme is sustainable. The sustainable middle ground is not scattered spontaneity, but centered spontaneity. And I want to give you the tricks of the trade so you can access that. Because here's the deal. If you were off the coast of Hawaii, where they've got mondo waves at the right time of year, and they just gave you a hunk of driftwood, could you control the ocean? Oh, hell no. But with some skill and practice, you might be able to surf the wave in the moment. Similarly, using the techniques I'm going to give you just a minute or two, you'll be able to... You won't have this great big tome land in your lap from the heavens that will tell you everything you will say, think, and do for the remainder of your life. How boring would that be? But you'll be able to surf the present moment in a way that will allow your choices and your utterances and your deeds to flow from with the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity. So let's explore that right now. And I feel the easiest way, because there's so much conflicting information, the easiest way is to explore this through the lens of neuroscience. I'm differently abled. I have a shit ton of disabilities. I like to describe it as neurodivergence with all the trimmings. So I've really had to study neuroscience just to defend myself against medical gaslighting, because yuck. So that's my go-to tool. I found a lot of neurotypicals fancying themselves meditation instructors, and they speak with vagaries and generalities, and I only really got good results when I viewed spirituality through the lens of neuroscience. So let's do that right now. So I have to give you some background. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, but not in the fun, tingly way. What does that look like? Well, good old Lao Tzu, who gave us the 81 poems of the Tao Te Ching, would put it this way, that 90% of folks think it's a great idea, a useful strategy, to be rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. And this rigidity and controlling tendencies tend to affect the way they practice and teach meditation. Allow me to illustrate. When we read a book or listen to a teacher, regardless of ethnicity or gender, if they teach us to actively concentrate or actively analyze, the only way to do that is by using our prefrontal cortex. To put a finer point on it, the discrete mechanisms found within either our found in regions such as our medial prefrontal cortex or our dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Now, I don't want to poop all over the prefrontal cortex. It's fabulous. Man, if you want to compare, contrast, sort, calculate, reason, edit, this is your tool. It's awesome, but it's kind of like a Stradivarius. It can be easily overworked, and when we do overwork it, we begin to excite this lumpy thing here, this little almond-shaped thing that the big kids call the amygdala, which functions as the seat of anxiety and aggression and just strengthens our tendencies to be more controlling and more rigid. And we can find ourselves in an unprotective downward spiral. Nobody wants that. Furthermore, if you're as dumb as I was, and I was super dumb, I ignored my body's warning signs. And if you ignore your body's warning signs, eventually you could begin presenting with symptoms of depression. So let's not overwork the dainty doily that is our prefrontal cortex. Fortunately, there is a mechanism in the the bowels of our central nervous system that is thoroughly equipped for both mindfulness and meditation. Let's begin with mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we access this sympathetic nervous system found in the central third or the middle third of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us perceive in a very special way, vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. And perhaps that could remind you of the attributes not of yang, but of yin. The attributes that help us to be flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind, especially flexible and laid back. This sympathetic nervous system can help us to directly perceive sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like. It can also help us to perceive emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. Now, there is potential for that to get overwhelming. Fortunately, we also have meditation on the lineup. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we automatically and inadvertently access our parasympathetic nervous system, ensconced within both the lower and the upper thirds of that same spinal cord. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to help us both physically relax as well as mentally release. Now, here's the thing. You might ask, and you're probably intelligent, so you probably already thought of this. Well, dude, if I already breathe, and I already have a sympathetic and a parasympathetic nervous system, why practice mindfulness and meditation? Good question. In an answer, in a word, Urkel. Urkel was a good-hearted kid with a sharp mind, but he was a klutzy motherfucker, forever knocking shit over and in the midst of chaos asking, did I do that? Our brain is as cluttered and disorganized as the personal storage space of a hoarder. But here's the irony. Since there has been language, humans have stumbled upon an odd phenomena, that language guides intention. So check this out. By silently, mentally, and passively reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, this big old brain can't help but cooperate with the sympathetic nervous system that we might perceive vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. Silently, mentally, and passively reciting the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation helps our big old brain to automatically cooperate with our parasympathetic nervous system to help us physically relax and mentally release. Now, there's 2 fringe benefits. Check this out. Number 1, this pacifies and calms our anxious and aggressive amygdala. And it stimulates this weird thing that kind of looks like a catcher's mitt. This thing that the big kids call the anterior cingulate gyrus. This thing that functions both as the hub of our mirror neurons as well as the seat of empathy and compassion and love. It doesn't take a great commitment. You can start out at 5 minutes every 12 hours or so, but practice this mindfulness and meditation, and you could find that your choices and your utterances and your deeds are flowing with the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity. For the late Tulku Thondup insisted that the highest love is spontaneous and uncontrived, and the product of treksha, the product of simply perceiving and releasing in harmony with our breathing. This week, you could master this technique. This week, you can flow from love's centered spontaneity and do what seems and see what the best thing is to do in the moment. Now, we live in an ever-changing universe. Our circumstances, our bodies, our relationships, our minds are in a constant state of flux, and that makes things interesting. So don't be surprised when the right thing to do varies from moment to day to week to month. Some people begin flexible and they listen to the universe, and then they get superstitious and rigid and they stop listening. Keep listening. Listening to the universe is as simple as noticing and releasing in harmony with your breathing, completely vulnerable to whatever comes up, forsaking the path of being rigid and controlling, and instead being flexible and laid back. And I'm reminded of the words of Helen Keller. You've probably heard this, so forgive me if I'm insulting your intelligence. Life is an exciting adventure, or it is nothing at all. What is the difference between a chaotic torment and an exciting adventure? The centered spontaneity that is the fringe benefit of mindfulness and meditation. I think it could be great fun if together as a team we chanted and practiced together. So I'd like to do that with you after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering all the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation, so that you won't have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. This morning I thought it could be fun to play with the latest iteration of love mindfulness meditation in the 3 marks of reality. Basically what this is 4 15-minute sessions cobbled together, sewn together like the Frankenstein monster. Perhaps I should have said stitched together. That would have been better. Let us begin by setting intention. Let us set intention by chanting love and releases wishes for universal enlightenment and well-being. May all circumstances of all beings appearing yet impermanent be as safe and abundant as a real or imagined Buddha's land. Do not be deceived by the word may. We are not praying to a real or imagined celestial entity. We are merely using words to guide the supercomputer of our own intention. Let's continue. May all minds of all being clear yet impermanent be as joyfully enlightened as a real or imagined Buddha's mind. May all relationships of all beings resounding yet impermanent be as peacefully loving as a real or imagined Buddha's speech. May all bodies of all beings sensual yet impermanent be as beautifully healthy as a real or imagined Buddha's form. So, quick like a pen, I'm going to change texts. Yes, like a horse midstream. And I'm going to work with Lingpa's Easy Tantra. Whoops, wrong button. So, welcome to Easy Tantra, also known as Tesar Mundro, composed about 200 years ago, give or take, by Dudjom Lingpa, translated from the Tibetan into English under the guidance of the late Chagdud Tulku, adapted and amplified by this MOOC right here. Please chant with me. I could be like the condor, the archetype of actions, kind intention, communication, conduct, and calmness, for I too could master bliss and letting go. Now, together as a team, let us bring the 4 bases of mindfulness into the ultimate practice of love and release. Oops, one moment. One moment, please bear with me. I have to reach for something, metaphorically speaking. Okay, here we go. As we relax into our exhalation, how could all perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, or imagination that we notice during our inhalation feel as non-graspable as or void as a Buddha's real or imagined syllable or bija of light? So what we're going to do is we're going to take all these words and squeeze them down into just 8 syllables that we're going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation in the form of a rhetorical question. Now that we are more comfortable with these 8 syllables, we can recite them during our inhalation. During the exhalation, we can physically relax as best we can while striving to chant this 12-syllable mantra 4 times per breath. And if this is your first time hanging out with me, give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hum. 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 And whoopsie daisy, let's see if I can't fix this. There we go. And now let us practice mindfulness and meditation. So let us count 24 rounds. 24 rounds. Here's how we'll do it. We will count 12 rounds on our left hand, advancing the tip of our left thumb during our inhalation, beginning with the index finger, working our way across our hand, and then switching to our right hand, beginning with our index finger, moving across our hand. And while this is best done with your hands in your lap, for the sake of illustration, I will stick my hands up in front of the camera. Let's continue. Please chant with me. Oops, got to check something real quick. Alrighty, let's move this over yonder. As we relax into our exhalation, how could all resounding communication that we perceive during our inhalation it is not graspable to avoid as a Buddha's real or imagined speech or mantra of light? So if you've just joined us, here's the pattern. We're going to play with this rhetorical. We're going to take all the syllables of this rhetorical question and compress them down into just 8 syllables that we're going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. Now that we're somewhat comfortable with these 8 syllables, we can recite them during the inhalation. During the exhalation, we can physically relax as best we can, while striving to chant this 12-syllable mantra 4 times per breath. And if this is your first time hanging out with me, give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. What is the most efficient way to practice mindfulness? It's simple. During the inhalation, silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun this. What is the most efficient way to practice meditation? Simple. During the exhalation, silently, mentally, and passively recite the 1-syllable verb ease. Together. As we relax into our exhalation, how good all sensual bodies or form that we perceive during our inhalation. Feel is not graspable or void is an archetype of enlightenment or yidam of light, such as this gal right here. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. As we relax into our exhalation, how could appearing circumstances or lots that we perceive during our inhalation feel is not graspable, avoid as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land of vati of light. Om Mahum Bin Zaguru Me Maziri Hun Om Mahum Bin Zaguru Me Maziri Hun Om Mahum Bin Zaguru Me Maziri Hun Om Mahum Bin Zaguru Me Maziri Hun. In the sky in front of me, my rude Lama could appear in the form of Kuntu Sangpo Yam Yam. Om Mahum Ben Guru Me Maziri Hung Om Mahum Ben Om Mahum Ben Guru Me Maziri Hung Om Mahum Ben Guru Me Maziri Hung Om Mahum Ben Guru Me Maziri Hung. As we breathe in, silently and mentally, we can recite relaxing into this. As we exhale, once again, we physically relax as best we can while striving to chant this 12-syllable mantra 4 times per breath. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. Embodiment of all Buddhas of the 3 times. Most excellent Lama, I pray to you. Hold me with your compassion in this life, in the bardo, and in future lives. Bless me always throughout the 3 times. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Bimasadi. May I receive all the blessings and empowerments of enlightened form, speech, and mind. Om Sammagasiri Karma Mudram Benzo Guru Kaya Wakatsita Siddhi Hum. Whoops. The most efficient way to practice mindfulness is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation. Similarly, the most efficient way to practice meditation is to silently, mentally, and passively recite the 1-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Oh, that's odd, isn't it? Let's see what's going on here. Okay, go ahead and hit paste. And going back now to find the heading. Go ahead and hit copy. And paste. Okay. That should do it. Please chat with me. O Nebelrana Sambhava Karma Mundra Benzo Guru Kaya Wakati Tasiri Hun. One moment. All right, how's about a bit of the old chanting? Oh, Hatsak Shubhyam Karma Mundra Benzo Guru Kaya Wakatsita Siddhi. Whoops, I got ahead of myself there. All right, let's go for it. Oh, Thrasami Taba Karma Mundra Free Benzo Guru Kaya Wakatsita Siddhi. Please chant with me. Whoopsie. Seems to be a problem here. Yep, that's a problem. Okay. Okay, let's try again. O Kransvara Chana Karma Mundra Om Benzo Guru Kaya Wakatita Siddhi Hum. The Lama dissolves into light and bends with me. In our inseparability, I behold the true face of the ultimate Lama, the union of spontaneous awareness and emptiness. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hung. 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 Let us now rehearse the Powa transference of consciousness at the time of death, finding peace by relaxing into the inevitable. I pray to the protector on me. Oopsie, one moment here. Let's hit this button. I pray to the protector Amitabha, bless me that I may master the profound path of Powa. I pray to the... So that'll do it. And now let's rest the mind. Now let us practice the second half of the Cho Slice offering. I now give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings as if they had each been my kind mothers. benzo guru me maziri hung. Om Mahung 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 benzo guru me maziri hung. Without hindrance may I ensure enormous benefit for all beings. Without hindrance may I ensure enormous benefit for all beings. Without hindrance may I ensure enormous benefit for all beings. May all lots of all beings appearing yet void no be as safely fortunate as a pure land of law represented in Buddhist paintings. May all minds of all beings lucid yet void no be as peacefully enlightened as a Buddha's mind symbolized by a one-syllable bija. May all speech of all beings resounding yet void no be as joyfully loving as a Buddha's speech symbolized by mantra. May all forms of all beings sensual yet void no be as beautifully healthy as a yattam archetype depicted in Buddhist statuary. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 hours or so, I would very much like to return to lead tonight's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.